Big welcome to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, and today we're here as promised with the first episode of How to Play.
Crushing the Meta!
This episode we will be explaining how to get into the game, how to play the game, so some of the rules, and how to enjoy the game even more. So, if you are new to the TCG card games, then this would be very hard for you to understand. But if you have already played Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon or Magic the Gathering or any other game, then this would be easier. If, as I said, this is the first time you play the card game, then it's really nice to have a friend or to walk into a card shop and talk with people that already play the game for you to understand the game even better. So, this is the card of Cardfight Vanguard. This is the back of the card and the front of the card. There are a lot of different cards and we put those into sleeves to keep the card in good shape. In my opinion, the best way to start playing the game is to go into a card shop and to buy a trial deck. A trial deck could be of any clan, or buy a legend deck. So this is the IG Sendo Legend deck. This is the newest legend deck that we have. It includes a lot of different cards, everything you need to start and play the game. What's good about this deck is that you have a complete deck. The only thing that you need is some sleeves and you're set to go. So if you buy a trial deck or a legend deck, there is a first guide that you have in there. In this video, we will go and zoom in on the first guide to explain this to you. After that, we have different sessions of the explanation to get deeper into details. And of course, we will end that with a match to show you the game mechanic, how to understand and play the game. Let's zoom in on the first guide. If you already have bought a trial deck or a legend deck and you have this with you or any other first guide, get that. Pause the video, get that, and you can read with us. So, let's go through this first guide and let me explain some of the rules and some of the stuff that is put right here. After that, as I said, we'll go into the sessions and explain it even better. So, the first you have the Vanguard card, which you can see right here. We have a normal unit, you have a trigger unit, and you have a stride unit or a G unit. But we will go into the G units way later, not on this video. This video will only talk about the normal and the trigger unit, so your main deck. Then you have how to read the card. We will zoom in on that as well, but this is really nice. You have the grade, the shield, the power, name and the race, and then it's zooming on the field as well. As you can see, you have a guardian circle, you have your Vanguard, which is you. You have the rearguard circles, 5 of them, and you have your damage zone, a G zone, the trigger zone, deck, and drop zone. Then it goes into how to play or how to prepare the card fight. There are a lot of sessions in this, but it's really easy to understand this if you play a match between you and a friend or any card fight Vanguard player that could explain this to you. So we will do that as well in a video, like we will show you a match and explain to you how the game works. But you could read this as well afterwards to understand it. This is something that is very important that we will talk about during the match as well. If you attack and boost, the power will include, which we will show you as well. And of course you have a drive check and the damage check, which is also something very important. You have a resting unit and a standing unit, which we'll also be explaining. But this is something that is really nice, and if you have a guide and this thing is on there, keep this with you all the time for you to understand how your turn or a turn would go. The first turn you have the standing Vanguard. So you stand your Vanguard, the Vanguard that you chose. Now, all of this will be clear when you go and watch the match. Then you have the stand and draw. So you stand all of your units. This is a unit that is standing and this is a unit that is resting. For some reason, sometimes you rest your unit, sometimes when you attack, when you boost, or to pay for a skill, sometimes you rest your unit. And at the start of your turn, you stand all of your units. So get them back to stand position, and you draw a card. That's when you start your turn. After that, you go into the right phase, which is the upgrade. Let's say you start up at grade 0, then you go into grade 1, a grade 2, a grade 3. The grades will be explained as well. And then you go into the stride, which we will talk about that in the second episode. You have the call, so you go into the main phase, you call, and you activate skills like the act skills. All of this will be explained, just listen. Attack, you go into the attack step, you could attack and then your opponent could guard, and you attack one by one. So you have, let's say, 3 attacking units. You attack first, they guard or not, they attack the second time, they guard or not, and then it goes on and on between you and your opponent. You attack and he defend, and when he's attacked you defend, and it goes on and on and on. Then you have the drive check and the damage check. This is something that it gets some of the new players confused, but stay tuned into that. If you don't understand it, we could do a different session on just explaining the damage check and the drive check. Then the guide will go like you have the grade or the guard with the guardian, you have the stride, which we'll show you in the second video, and of course the skills and make your deck even better, learn more. And this is also something that is important, but it's really hard to explain if you are new to the game, but I will explain it very fast. You have 3 or 4 kind of triggers: a critical, a draw, a stand, and a heal. Talk about that in a minute. You have 4 kind of symbols that the card could have. The boost symbol, which grade 1s and grade 0s have. It means that they could lend their power to the unit in front of them. The interception symbol, which only grade 2s have. This symbol would let grade 2s defend. And then you have the twin drive and the triple drive, which we'll talk about that as well. Different kind of skills or different kind of symbols that you can have on the cards as well. You have the act, the auto, and the continuous. Show you in a minute. And then you have these symbols, which is something that we'll talk about also later. And of course, try new things, so do more, learn more, buy more stuff, and make your deck even better. So that was the first guide. Now we go into the different sessions. So let's take a look at the cards. First we have the grades, so it's a grade 2. Then we have a symbol right here, which is the symbol that grade 2s have. We'll explain that. And then we have the shield. The value of the shield is 5k. It's also set shield and have the shield symbol. Then you have the flavor text, the art, of course, a normal unit. This is a normal unit. You also have trigger units, the name of the card, the power, which has the sword, and it also said power. Then we have the critical, so it's crit 1, which also said, so it does only 1 damage. The clan, where this card comes from, it's a human, so it's type, and then the set, and also the rarity of the card. So let's take a look at the card with a skill. So the skill is something that you have right here. You have a lot of different skills in this game, and most skills are bound to the clan that they come from. The skills has continuous, an act, or an auto ability. The continuous ability is continuous, so this card always have this skill. Maybe if it's said in the text that it's only on your turn, then it's only on your turn, but mostly it's a continuous ability. The act ability is the ability that you could use in your main phase, so when you can act. And the auto ability will activate when the conditions are met. So we have 4 different grades right here. There is also a 5th grade, but we'll explain that later. You have a grade 3, grade 2, grade 1, and a grade 0. Of course, you start at the grade 0 and you will grade up to grade 3. But most importantly is that you have the symbols. So the grade 3 has a symbol which has a twin head, and that means that it has a twin drive. That is something that we'll explain in the match. The grade 2 has the interception, which it could defend from the field. The grade 1 and the grade 0s could boost when they are in the back row. So they could give the power to the grade 2s, grade 3s, or even grade 0s and grade 1s. So here we have 4 different kind of triggers. There are only these 4. We have a critical trigger, stand trigger, a draw trigger, and a heal trigger. The heal trigger, when you drive check or damage check this card, which will explain what that means, you will be able to heal 1 damage. If you and your opponent have the same damage, or if you have more damage, the draw triggers would let you draw an extra card. You have to draw an extra card. The stand trigger would let you stand rested units, and the critical trigger gives you 1 more critical, which is the critical right here, so it does 1 more damage. So let's take a better look at the triggers. As you can see, there is the symbol right here, which is this is a critical trigger. It also gives an extra power. So let's say that you give the critical to a unit, you could also give the power to another unit, which will be explained in the series or in the match. The power is the same, it's a grade 0, all triggers are grade 0, it has the boost unit and the name and everything else is the same. One thing is different, it said a trigger unit, where on the normal unit it said a normal unit. So here we have a Sentinel card, which is a card that you could only have 4 copies of in your deck, the same with the heal trigger, but we'll explain that in the how you would make your deck video. Most importantly about these cards are that they have no shield value. You have a lot of different kind of Sentinels, which we could also explain if you want us to. But most importantly, it also has a defensive ability. So it doesn't have any shield, but it has a defensive ability, which is different between a card and another. Most normal defensive ability is you discard a card and it nullifies the attack. So here we have a field of the cards of Vanguard. As you can see, there are 3 different kind of guard circles. We have the Rearguard circles, the Vanguard circle, and the Guardian circle. The Vanguard circle is where the Vanguard stands and it could not move to another circle. The Rearguard circle is where your Rearguards will be, and the Guardian circle is where you can defend. We have the drop zone, which is the graveyard, and we have your deck, where your deck could be. We have also G zone, which will be explained later, and the damage. As you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. When you hit the 6 damage, you lose, which we'll be explaining in the game. What's important about these circles are that the Rearguards could move from the front to the back, but not to the side. And the Vanguard could not move, as I said. The Guardians, if they are grade 2s and they could intercept, they could move and intercept from the front row. And if you could guard from your hand, you could put cards from the Guardian into your hand. So this is the back row, and this is the front row, the right and the left column, and that's how the game works.
Banana, banana.
2 bananas are playing Vanguard. Oh my god, what's this? Explain us, master.
Me, I'm the master. But, yeah. Welcome to Crushing the Meta. This is our new intro.
I tried. I really tried not to laugh.
A perfect banana. It defends all the banana attack.
Banana.
Second banana.
2 banana.
Next.